welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Yes, we know it's fall. And yes, we know that people get excited about football. But if you are a baseball lover like myself and our guest today, you also get excited about fall baseball. We are so blessed and fortunate to have with us today none other than the man himself from College Black Nines, Mr. Michael Coker. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fine. You meant Black College Nines.
What did I say? What did I say, sir?
You said College Nines.
Oh, I'm sorry. Look, I'm sorry.
That's okay. No worries. We know what it is.
Yeah, yes, sir. But for the record, so I don't confuse anybody, give us the official name again, sir.
That's Black College Nines.
Black College Nines. I said College Black Nines. I sure did. Okay. Well, forgive me. Charge it to the head and not to the heart. You doing all right?
You are fine.
Yes, sir. You doing all right, huh?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
A lot going on at HBCU baseball, and thanks for having me on it again. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Well, we're excited to have you on. Do you go, as they say, through all the weeds of what's going on throughout HBCU baseball as a whole, and it's greatly appreciated, at least from this end, being an old baseball player myself. Now, with that being said, there have been a lot of moving parts, and we know that things are constantly changing. Some say for the better, some say for the worse. But a lot of people get lost and think that there's only D1 levels of baseball. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but there's a lot of Division II and, quite frankly, a lot even more heavier competition on the NAIA level when it comes to HBCU baseball, correct?
Yes, it is. You're correct.
Okay, and if you could, me personally, other than scholarships and talent on how one deciphers what they call talent, baseball is one of those sports that we know pitching makes a difference, but even with some decent pitching and creative managerial moves, you can almost be in any competition when it comes to baseball.
You're so correct on that. Baseball is a sport that has so many moving parts, not just pitching. Pitching is a big part of it. I mean, you have to have pitching because, my dad used to always say, good pitching will beat good hitting any day, and that is true. But baseball is a sport where you have to know the fundamental parts. It's not like basketball where, shoot, try to rebound, or football, run the ball. Baseball's got so many moving parts. You got 9 players on the field. Everybody has to know what they're doing. Even when you're waiting for the next pitch and then the batter in the batter's box. Baseball is a unique sport. I love it because we at the HBCU level, back in the days of the Negro League, Major League Baseball used to draft heavy from HBCUs. And up until the glamour sports took over, Major League Baseball was full of players from HBCUs, full of young men getting drafted on the minor league teams, making the Major League level. And that includes the Division II, the NAIA, and Division I levels. Back then, teams that were getting drafted from HBCUs were playing at the NAIA level. So with that being said, baseball, is particularly HBCU baseball, is very competitive. It's just that, with so many players, and, it used to be 49 rounds of draft. Now it's down to 20, so you're limiting players, and now Major League Baseball is getting the cream of the crop. And we used to have a lot of HBCU players get drafted. This year we had 2. Last year we had 2. And they took those 4 guys were pitchers that were throwing 97 plus. So HBCU baseball is just as competitive as any of the collegiate baseball teams across the country.
No doubt about it. And you made the mention of the 97 miles per hour. And me personally, I think a lot of people are getting lost that if you don't have a guy who can touch the 90s on a consistent basis, that you don't have viable pitching. And I'll agree to disagree because pitching is an art. It's a skill. And when you learn how to pitch, how to make your fastball look faster than what it is with an awesome changeup or slider or what we call an Uncle Charlie curveball, you can mix that thing and keep that batter off balance, because that's what pitching is really all about if you don't have the gas. And if all you're throwing is gas, people can sit back and eventually time that thing.
Yes, and you're correct on that, because back I would say about 20 years ago, all you really needed was a curveball and a fastball. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, you touched on it, because batters are smart. They'll sit back and wait and know that fastball is going to come, and they'll take it and they'll drive it out of the park. But you have to have a pitcher that uses every square inch of that strike zone. And, you got pitchers with that 12-6 curveball where you see it looks fat and all of a sudden it drops out of sight. And then you have the sliders that come at you and then break at the last second. One of the best pitchers out there, and he doesn't really throw 90, and he's not from the HBCU ranks, but his name is Kyle Hendricks, pitches for the Chicago Cubs. He uses every square inch of that strike zone, and that's what you need nowadays. You can have a fastball to get someone out, but it's not the pitch that you need to have all the time. You need to have an out pitch that's going to keep that batter off balance. And, sometimes you got batters that are swinging at balls that are out of the strike zone because it looks like it's a strike, and then it breaks at the last second. It does something to you. And I need to say this to you, Mr. Prince. There are some pitchers out there who will show you a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, and you can read the label on the ball as it's coming across the plate. And that's enough distraction to get you out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. And it's, like I said, it's an art, and it's about deception, making this thing appear to be what it's actually not. And that's one of the things, and I already know right now we're not going to have enough time to talk about all the integral details that we could touch on. That's why we got to have you back on the show, and I'm asking you that already in advance, sir, because like I said, I could talk baseball with you all day long. Yes, sir, and you have. I enjoy your show. Thank you very much. Well, look, here's what I want to do. I want to work, not that it's a necessary pecking order, but I want to work from bottom up with NAIA baseball. And some people that are listening to this show, most of them are HBCU connected, but we have many listeners who are not HBCU connected. And we already made the difference. Just because you're on an NAIA playing surface does not mean you don't have major league capabilities and skill sets. So if you are able to at this point, could you rattle off some of the NAIA programs and some of those that are considered premier programs in the NAIA level? Let's start off with the Black College World Series champion, Edward Waters University. Edward Waters was a HBCU powerhouse. They had a good 8-year run. The last 2 years they've been rebuilding, and it showed this year that they're headed back to the right spot. Plus, they're moving to a Division II program, but they have always been an NAIA program up until this past season. Edward Waters, great coach. Reginald Johnson, premier program. Find ways to win. Besides Edward Waters, you have Talladega. I consider Talladega College one of your better HBCUs because of their schedule. They take on those top-ranked teams in the NAIA. They will play 25 to 30 games against teams ranked in the NAIA top 25. And they will go in and they will upset those teams and win. Talladega, their motto is
We like to play the tough guys, and that's the way we like it.
Love it, love it, love it.
Another good team is down here in Florida, where I live in South Florida, Florida Memorial. Coach Tito Burgos, he's getting a good mixture of those Latin players mixed with the young black men and some of the white kids, and he's getting those kids to stay home. What I like about Tito Burgos is he's a coach's coach. He believes in preparing his team. If they make a mistake, they will work on that mistake during the season. That's what I like about Tito Burgos. And then you have Xavier. This is their second year. This 2023 will be his third year. But Adrian Holloway has taken over a program, and he has really done well. They won 27 ball games last in their inaugural season after 60 years of being in a hiatus. He came over from Selma University. He came over and he went to 6 small college playoffs in a row. He came to Xavier, turned Xavier around. They had injuries in 2022 that kind of derailed them. And by the time he got the players back, the season was done. But that's another program you want to keep your eye out on for. And also, one of the big NAI programs that is really, really up and coming is Rush College. John Bates. John Bates is a known coach from the HBCU ranks. He's getting a lot of athletes in. If you know anything about Rush was a Division III program. Rush was just a baseball program that was just there. In the last 3 years, they've gone in and rebuilt the program, rebuilt the field. They're getting top recruits in, and they're playing good baseball. There's a lot of talent at the NAIA from the HBCU level. I mean, Jarvis Christian, Texas College, Wiley, Houston Tittleson, Tougaloo, Voorhees, Stillman. A quiet team that really nobody talks about is that team in Missouri at Harrison Stowe State.
Yes, sir. The old Hornets.
Yes. Young 25-year-old coach who was a player on the team. When he was a player, they won 30 ball games in a row. Almost went to the NAIA national tournament. Got knocked out before the conference tournament. And he's righting that ship. And then there's Payne College. Payne College was a Division II team in a SIAC. Decided to downsize the program. Had a great year last year. Went to the small school regional. Almost upset those teams. But these are the things that's going on in HBCU baseball. We got a lot of great baseball programs coming out of HBCU, the NAIA program. So 2023 is going to be really exciting.
Yes, sir. No doubt about it. We're talking right now with Michael Coker from College Black Nines, and we're breaking down the NAIA and is about to jump to Division II HBCU programs of impact, programs that are up and coming, and just awareness of the programs abroad. And I really appreciate you, sir, taking out the time of helping educate our listeners, because that's what we're about here, information and education. Now, uniquely enough, Division III is like an echo. It's like we were here, but now we're not. So we'll go to Division II unless I'm missing a Division III program.
No, you're not. Rust was a Division III up until 5 years ago. Then they became an NAIA program. But we're stacked. We are stacked with Division II, especially from the SIAC.
Yes, sir.
We have 11 teams in the SIAC conference, and that is a very competitive. When I say competitive, you have 5 teams within there that normally knock off these ranked teams each year. Albany State has a very good baseball program. Kentucky State, Miles, Savannah. Tuskegee was pretty tough before head coach Reginald Hollins departed this past season. And I really like the SIAC. And then there's Lane. Lane is returning the coach who led Stillman to 10 playoffs appearances. Donnie Moore was a hardcore, hard-nosed coach, and when he led Stillman, before Stillman dropped out of Division II, became an NAIA, he led Stillman to 10 NCAA tournaments. He's back in coaching at Lane, so the SIAC is going to be a very tough conference this year. But we also have five independent programs that do really well. West Virginia State, last year they went to the NCAA regional tournament. Virginia State feels a good team. Bluefield State is your inaugural Black College World Series winner in 2021. They were a repeat team this past year in 2022. They went back to defend their title, the Black College World Series, and they lost that tournament. But the fact that Bluefield State is a good baseball program with a great up-and-coming head coach. It's Lincoln University, then Claflin. Claflin is in the news lately because their head coach just retired. James Randall, former Major League Baseball player, just retired, and so we're expecting an announcement about a new head coach soon. So those are the rumblings that's going on in Division II HBCU baseball. It's stacked. It's very competitive.
Yes, sir. Now, as I say, we'll step up one more level to Division I. Some much better baseball being played over the recent years. It's always been competitive, as you mentioned, but now it's becoming more noticeable from outsiders looking in, and it's not by coincidence.
Well, HBCU baseball has always, especially in the NCAA Division I, has always been competitive. Has always competed. Their non-conference games are always scheduled. If you look across the board each year at their schedule, you'll see their non-conference midweek games are against teams that are ranked. And then, every now and then we'll have one of our, especially coming out of the SIAC, the SWAC conference, will upset those ranked teams. Southern is known for beating LSU, Mississippi State, Texas Southern has beaten Oklahoma. There's this, the level of play, it doesn't always get the notoriety that it should. But when these Division I programs play HBCU baseball, these teams, they know that they're going in, that they're going to get teams that can compete and come at them hard. I like that part, but there's also a bunch of moving parts that has happened. The MEAC, the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, is no longer has baseball programs. If you remember Florida, the two schools from Florida, Florida A&M University and Bethune-Cookman, left the MEAC and decided to join the SWAC, and then North Carolina A&T left to join the Big South Conference, and then North Carolina Central just shut down baseball altogether. So that left 4 teams in the MEAC, and then those 4 teams, Coppin State, Delaware State, Norfolk State, and Maryland Eastern Shore, they all have departed the MEAC and have joined the Northeast Conference. Those 4 baseball programs that used to compete in the MEAC, since its inception, they have moved. I would say northern. It's more regional. They're better suited regional to play. And what happened was once they lost, the MEAC lost those 4 teams. They lost their automatic qualifying for NCAA Division I postseason tournament, and they couldn't find teams to field, so they lost their automatic bid to the NCAA. So these teams have moved on. I think that they're in a better situation One of the problems was travel. The cost of travel was enormous. Having to, take trips down to Florida and moving around quite a bit. And to move the Northeast Conference at these schools are in Coppin State, Delaware, Norfolk State, and Maryland. It's a good regional move for them.
Yes,
so
sir.
We've got a lot of moving parts.
Yes, sir. Now, with that being said, I know there used to be an attempt, I should say, of MEAC SWAC baseball challenges, which is going to lead us now to one of your babies, let's call it, and that's the Black College World Series. Now, A, how did you come up with that idea? B, how do you select your teams? And C, how do you select your location?
Well, I came up with the idea of the HBCU Black College World Series. I was doing a story for Black College Nines about 11 years ago, and I was talking to Bluefield State's head baseball coach. His name is Joffrey, and him and I were just having a baseball talk about his program and about a player I was doing a story on. And then he said to me some things that just shocked me. And at first I questioned him, and then I started really listening to what he was saying, and then he gave me an idea. What he said to me was, Mike, we don't have we've got nothing to play for. He says, and I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, he said, the HBCUs have nothing to play for. He says, after a conference tournament, we go home. Everybody else plays postseason. So I got up that call and I thought, he's right. So I put an effort in to see to it that we would come up with a postseason tournament for HBCUs. And it took me 10 years to get it done. I would have had it on my own in 2020, but COVID hit. But I was able to do it in 2021, and then we formed a partnership in 2022, and then we're planning now for our third year of the Black College World Series as we move on. Now, mind you, we're working on Division I. The Black College World Series is the HBCU Division II in NAI. It's a cross tournament. We have a cross bracket. We have the NAIA competing, and then the Division II competing in a bracket. And each bracket champion who makes it to the bracket championships will meet and compete for the Black College World Series. We've had these events in Montgomery, Alabama. We've been successful with the Tampa Rays, their minor league affiliate, the Montgomery Biscuits. They want us back there. We want to return. That's where we're headed for 2023. And what we have is we have a selection committee. Black College Championships has formed to put on these events, and we have a selection committee. Young man by the name of Jarrell Calhoun did an excellent job as the chair. He was able to get the teams that competed in the tournament, and it was very competitive. And we had some of the NCAA members there. We had a lot of people from Division I, Division II, and when they came to that tournament and they saw how competitive it was, not only were they shocked, but they let it be known that this is a very competitive tournament. So moving forward, we're looking to make this a lifetime event to crown an HBCU baseball national champion.
Okay, now I noticed you said you were working on Division I. Are you allowed to expound a little bit on what that process is right now?
All I can tell you is we're working on Division I.
Okay. That seemed to be, a little challenging, with these regionals that go on, and I'm assuming that could be part of what you got to kind of work through.
That's one of the drawbacks. It's a good drawback because they're with planning and with the help of the NCAA. The NCAA, I think, does a fantastic, and the NAI as well, job of promoting collegiate events, especially collegiate baseball. So they're willing to work with us, and we're going to find a happy medium. It's nothing you can snap a finger at. It's just going to take a little time.
Yes, sir. Now, I noticed that you said you made some partners, and we know that typically baseball is not considered a revenue sport. Now, these teams that are invited, are they responsible for their own travel or getting to the locations and lodging for these events that are scheduled?
It's a national tournament. We'll see to it that once they are selected, that they will compete.
Okay. Okay, so I'm hearing by any means necessary.
Well, put it to you this way. When you put on a national tournament, you invite the teams, you're going to have to see to it that the teams have a place to stay, a meal, and lodging so they can compete in that tournament. Once we put on that tournament, we'll make sure that those teams, that their stay is enjoyable, and they will have memory. Because for the last 2 years, that's all they've been talking about. That's the biggest talk, is the pleasant experience they had. And nobody in 2022 complained anything about travel, lodging, meals. All they talked about was the tournament, even the teams that got beat.
Yes, sir. And for those who might not be aware, and this is news to them, how many teams are in this tournament, and how long and what time of year is this tournament?
Well, the tournament is a postseason tournament. It's after the regular season ends, and then teams that are coming out of their conference tournament will compete. And usually it's in the month of May. Like I said, it's a postseason, and we have 8 teams. I don't know if we haven't, as a committee, we haven't talked about expanding because we want this event to grow. If expansionism comes, it's because we have did our planning, we crossed our T's, dotted our I's, did our homework, did our research, and we were able to put on the event for quite a bit of time, and then, maybe consider growth.
Okay, very good. And for those who are baseball lovers and they can't make it to Montgomery, and by the way, that's an excellent stadium where the Biscuits play. I've had the pleasures and luxury of going to a tour of that great location, great facility. When you want to listen or watch these games, how can one do that?
All our games through the tournament in the past and in the future will be live streamed. There's streaming services out there. They provide an excellent coverage of collegiate baseball. It is a first-class production. It almost rivals ESPN. And this is done, and the beauty part that I really like about this is these games are being streamed, and they're all HBCU products.
Very good. Very good. That's always exciting, too, sir. Always exciting. Well, I told you at the beginning of this conversation that we could talk all day long about this, but for the sake of time, when we get together again, I want to talk about the recruiting aspect of college baseball on an HBCU level, some of the challenges and some of the creative opportunities that would develop from those challenges. And would love to have you come back and we can discuss that. But for right now, I want to wrap this up by giving you an opportunity to give some closing thoughts and comments. And the floor is now yours, sir.
Well, I want to emphasize Black College Championships, our involvement to put on the Black College World Series. We have a great sponsor. Tyson Foods is the sponsor. What I really like about this is we're giving these kids an opportunity to compete at a national championship level, something that has not been seen before in HBCU baseball. This event is going to grow. It's going to be the trademark. It's going to be the national mark for HBCUs. My vision, I'm the founder of it. I've been through a lot to get it where it is, and hopefully one day when the Lord decides to call me home, that I leave my mark and Black College World Series will still be in place.
Well, sir, I think it's a great vision to have, and the word says we have not because we ask not, and I believe that the Lord will hear your petition and honor your request.
I really appreciate that, and Michael Prince, all respect to you for what you've done, what you're doing, and continue to do for sports. Your show is top rated. You can have me on at any time you want, and I will. All you have to do is drop me a line, and that answer will be why yes.
Well, you know what? You're awful kind for that, and I'm gonna hold you to that because there's a lot more we got to discuss, and I can't really wait to peel back these different layers of this HBCU onion. Thank you so much, sir, for joining in with us. He is Michael Coker of College Black Nines. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. You can, of course, follow me on Twitter at The Mike Prince Show. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. And don't forget to visit the website at obnradio.com. The time has come where I must exit stage left, but until the next time, you guys be blessed.
You meant Black College Nines.
I'm sorry, man. I did it again, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. That's okay.
Black College Nines, people. Black College Nines. My head gets ahead of my mouth sometime, or vice versa. But be sure to tune in to Black College Nines. And what's that Twitter handle, sir?
HBCU Black College Nines. Hashtag HBCU Black College Nines.
All right, there it is. And once again, charge it to my head, not to my heart. On that note, I've got to get out of here before I mess up again. You guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.